Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to our first guest, our first series in this guest series of Not Like Us. Welcome to Shift Talkers. And I'm so excited today to start these conversations, this edition of conversations with masters, master teachers, healers, medicine men and women, and change agents all around us. And sometimes we don't talk enough about some of the things that you are hearing in other places from a place of elevation, of higher level of consciousness. And this whole thing has taken the storm, but the rap beef between Drake and and Kendrick. So, of course, there are many of us who have been not like us, and I'm one of them. I am Latanya Taylor, affectionately known as the Rev Coach, the Juicy Spirit Mama, the Priestess of Purpose, Pleasure, Passion, and Profits. And I am excited today to introduce to some. Many of you already know this beautiful soul that I am bringing in front of you. She is known in the world as Chef Ahki, a wellness advocate, a TED Talk speaker, five-time author, founder of the Electric Kitchen, the Fibroid Elimination Program, Indigenous Herbs Inc, and the Supernatural Woman Retreat, and let me slow that down. Supernatural Woman Retreat and Cosmotherapy Retreat. So she has been on many major broadcast stations like the Wendy Williams show. She has done work for Nick Cannon, Lenny Kravitz, Common, Lee Daniels, and the list actually goes on. She has been a voice in her community. She has continued to expand her reach in the wellness industry, but I happen to have the honor and the privilege of bringing on your sister, your beloved goddess, who is much more than that. She is a songstress. I don't know why that's not in the bio. She is a superstar, really, wherever she goes in whatever she does. And I can't wait for you to hear from her. Chef Ahki, welcome to Shift Talk.
Thank you so much for having me, Latanya. You know it's a pleasure.
This is so long overdue and long in the making in terms of having a conversation. But in your own words, I introduce you, but is there anything that you want to add? Because I want to make sure I edify you.
Oh, that was a hell of an intro. And like you said, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
There's just so much there. I think what I want people to know most about me is that I'm from the South. I'm a Southern girl. I'm from the country, and I come from a place where not only was my family poor, and we come from poor health, but also a poor mind state. And that I really want particularly young women to be inspired, that no matter your situation, that it's all in your minds. It's all in your spirit of what you want to create your life to be. And I was really blessed to create a life that is about well work for others in this life. That's a gift to me, that I can be a gift to others in this way. So I could have went down many paths, coming from where I came from. So this is such a gift, and it's really an honor to be here with you. You know how much I adore you.
I adore you. And so, we are on this Not Like Us in the culture. And for many of us who are shifters, real shifters in our generation, real shifters in our family line, real shifters in our friend circle, we've been not like us. We've been on that.
Been on that. I was just telling my son the other day that we're 5%ers. I said, when people ask, you just understand you are 5% of the population. We are not like them, and that's just going to be your life in reality, because your mama is that. So
Yeah. So I originally thought, I wanted to talk to you about the food and the feminine, but you talk about that so much. I already, so I want to weave in the food and the free feminine yeah, because I really want to talk about your journey as an expat. There's so many people who are moving abroad, and like, and as one who's lived abroad, life is different when you move abroad. And so you are currently living abroad right now and inviting people to consider living abroad, right?
yes, that's
You got
correct.
your Not Like Us call to move abroad long ago. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Latanya, I always knew that I would move out of the States. I didn't know how, when, where, what. I always knew that I would. And it's interesting that I got an astrological reading years ago that mentioned a couple countries that I would end up in. And I thought, wow, this is so specific. How strange. And it mentioned Hawaii, it mentioned Belize, and I ended up living in both of those countries. And so my journey was that I wanted to find a place that was warm all year round. I wanted
Mhm.
to be close to tropical fruits and veggies because that's my life. And I'm a swimmer. I'm really a real Pisces mermaid fish type of chick. So
Okay.
I need water. Being near water for me is just everything. Even if I don't get in it but once a month, I just like being near and seeing water every day, just walking by it, feeling the mist from it, all of that. I just need it. So I knew it would happen for me. And I left at a time that people probably would consider the worst time to leave because there was so much insecurity globally with flying. People were afraid to fly. People were afraid of the mandates for vaccines. There was so much going on. And that's the time that I had a dream. And the dream showed me that I needed to go ASAP. And I mean, it wasn't even maybe 48 hours when I left that the country was locked down for COVID. So, what an adventure. I can't say enough about it, but it is something that I encourage people to consider, even if it's not long term. Try living outside of the country at least once in your life just to get a feel for other cultures, for you and your children's education. It just really shows you the truth and the reality of life. We really are very all much delulu in America. We don't really get what's really happening in the world. We're in a real bubble. So this has been good for me on a soul level, financial level, and many other things. I'm sure my health is, I've given myself some years just being here in this environment.
Yeah. I remember when we landed in Costa Rica. There was just something about what we felt that was just it's undescribable the very first time that we did it. And when you are living abroad, you have to do 90 days if you're on a temporary, visa or whatever. So you have to leave every 90 days. And then we began to travel for our 90-day runs. And I'm telling you, like, the Americans think that everybody is rushing just like them. Americans think that everybody is moving at the rate of motion that they are. So the first thing we did was slow down when we got there. So, what was one of the first things you did when you moved abroad?
Good question. I would say one of the first things that I did, and I wouldn't suggest this for anybody. Spirit just believed me. However, because I didn't do any research on this place at all, I didn't do one Google search on the town that I was going to. I had never
Okay.
even visited. Okay, so this is some real leaning into spirit type of
Period.
stuff
Yeah.
going here.
Yeah.
But sister, when I tell you, I felt no fear. I felt no anxiety. It was all things go, right? Um, so when I got here, I said, well, I'm going to go to a bed and breakfast. I knew two people who lived here, an elder couple, retired. And, and I wanted to go kind of find out where where the tribe, where the people, where the Black folks were, if you will.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I did was I went to find the Garifuna folks. I said, where's my people at? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were like, well, this whole island is, it's pretty much Garifuna. There's a few Mayans who came over from Guatemala, but this is us. And I was like, what? So I went right down to like a little shindig, to just get the vibe of the people and watch and listen and learn from the culture, the dances, I just wanted to see how they live together, how they, congregate. And that's the first thing I did. And from there, I was able to meet people and make connections that have continued to help me while I've been here. So,
wow. Okay. I love it, because that's what we did. We did not want to live like Americans when we went to Costa Rica. We chose to live like Ticos. We wanted to be in the culture. We did not want to be behind a gate, because we didn't leave America to replicate America.
exactly.
Right. But a lot of people want to move abroad with creature comforts. But when we think about not like us, because even that distinguishes you in terms of not being even just like somebody in the spiritual community who talks about it and talks about it. So how did the move feed your feminine?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. And I know I can speak candidly since we're
Oh, yeah, yeah. It'll be on YouTube, but I mean, you
I'm
can.
the juicy queen prophetess herself. It fed my feminine in so many ways. So, for example, I was single when I was planning my move here. I shut down my lease, and as I was, I was taking my child's father with me, and at the last minute, he lost his passport. And so we didn't make that first flight. Well, 2 weeks into this delay, I met a young man, and he said, well, do you need some help getting there? You want me to help you with your luggage, help you with anything? And I was like, you know what? Sure. And the brother helped me with all of my things. We were platonic friends. We got to Belize. He did everything for me, helped me with all. I had 7 suitcases, the whole shebang. And we fell in love. And I had the most beautiful, most gorgeous love experience. It truly was a beautiful, beautiful love affair for 2 years. And and I got to experience things that I only dreamed of. I got to really indulge into all things tropical lovemaking. And he was extremely masculine. And I got to really, really sit and rest in my feminine so much more than I ever had before, because he just really allowed me to do so. Being here was like, there was a certain type of freedom, the mentality of the culture here. One of the songs that's very popular here is, I just want to smoke my trees and love my girl to some reggae. That plays every day here. I hear my neighbors, the cars go by. That is the vibe. So what I tell people here is that the country is cash poor, but asset rich.
Okay.
And so they can indulge, almost everyone's married. They can indulge in love in a new way, and the women can rest in a feminine in a new way. Nothing like I've ever seen, because they own the land, they own their homes. They don't really need cash for much except for small things, maybe to repair their vehicle, but they've got the chickens and the cows in the yard, and they're growing their veggies, and the food is growing wild.
Yeah.
And so if you go to a neighbor's house, you better believe, you better scream from the yard, because likely they're making love. This has happened to me. I've walked up on people like, hey, I need so-and-so. And they're like, whoa, zipping up their pants. Like, yeah. And that's the culture. People are making love in the river. They're making love in it's just so divine, sister. I mean, just making love in the storms, because there's tropical seasonal storms. It's just such beauty that I've got to experience on that level. Whereas I feel like in the US, there's like a PDA thing, right? It's like nobody wants to. And even my lover that was here, he told me he was very opposed to public displays of affection when in the States, but here he felt so free. So it's a cultural thing. I think that we're kind of disgusted by it in the States. Like, get a room. Where here, it's just the culture. So that to me would be the best way to describe that.
You're also a businesswoman. So when you because and I've lived abroad, and to me, and so there's no utopia, right, anywhere. So give us a little bit of the real too, because you're a businesswoman running a business. What's different? What do you have access to that you don't have, you didn't have access to in the States, and what do you don't have access to that you have access to there?
Oh, girl, where do I begin? I was just my mother's here visiting, and my
Oh,
son is here. And I was just telling my mother, I don't think most people could do this. And she was like, I get it, because the access and the conveniences that we're all used to, there's no Amazon Prime here.
mm-hmm.
You can't do a Target run, for all your favorite honey pot and all your stuff. It just doesn't exist. Um, there is no vegan restaurant, that I can run over.
Exactly.
It
Mhm,
doesn't exist. So it's now you can have a housekeeper cook all your meals,
mhm.
for 100 USD a week. Hello. So,
Okay.
and clean your house and run your errands. So, there's the benefits, there's the pros, there's the cons. As a businesswoman, for me, in in that I'm spending 8 to 12 hours a day kind of locked in my office, working, researching, whatever, it really has, on one hand been a benefit in that I am not distracted. There is no girls' brunches that I have to be obligated to run out to. Okay, because we know in Atlanta, oh my God, just
Right.
$3,000 a month budget just for the girl brunches. Oh my God, everyone's baby shower, everybody's whatever. So I'm not distracted. There's a level of isolation here that I think
Okay.
some people would not be okay with.
Yeah.
And for me, it's okay. I don't ship items from here.
You
It would
don't.
not, no, it would not be a good situation. There's the duty taxes and all that stuff. So to even ship items, if you are in the shipping business or product development business, like I am, I had to set up shop in Houston, Texas for distro. I've got distro also in Atlanta. So, you would have to really rewire and work your business in such a way that you kind of have everything automated in the States, but you get the benefit of, the peace and rest that you can enjoy in another country, and you're not spending as much money on overhead being in another country. That truly is the benefit. There's cheap land, cheap housing, produce, and the environment in itself. And of course, living here for me is a business in and of itself, because technically I'm running several businesses. So I can host retreats because I live here. I can have my retreat up the street as opposed to having to fly overseas. I
Mm-hmm.
can host my wellness activations here, right here in one of my homes here. So there's the pros and the cons, and honestly, I think this country would be seen as undeveloped or an eyesore to most people. Almost all the third world countries, that even as beautiful as Costa Rica is, there's areas that's just like, wow, there's no humane society. The dog's got one leg just walking around everywhere. It's like, ew, right? We're not used to that.
Yeah.
The dogs got a whole gang wars out here. Like, they're free. They're wild dogs.
They're wild dogs. Everything is free, honey. And
Oh
then
my,
they know they are hustlers too. The dogs are
oh
hustlers.
yes. Oh yes. They're not moving for your car. It's a whole thing. The flies, the mosquitoes, it really has taught me how much we're being poisoned in the States, because just to sit down and eat, the flies are attacking you at an open air restaurant. And in the States, not so much. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are there no insects, mosquitoes, spiders, they're everywhere here. So it's like, whoa. So, again, there's comforts that I don't think the average American would be able to deal with. And if they were to try to escape some of those comforts, the cost is just insane to do so. So I've kind of found a happy medium here for myself, where I'm able to have a much larger space than I had in the States for way less than I had. And I'm still able to run business because of how I've set up my automation in the States, and everything else is pretty much done virtually. And I do travel. I travel quite a bit. So
I'm glad
if you're
you're
someone,
mentioning that.
yeah, if you're someone who, and now I don't travel a lot for leisure. It's always almost for work, almost always. And I'm co-parenting. And I know that's a big, big thing because mamas are trying to leave the country, but the other parent, maybe not so much. So, fortunately, my child's father was very open to expatriation. He's looking to expatriate too. So not so much pushback there. And what I've been teaching and learning is that power versus force, because, oftentimes if you tell somebody, listen, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and da, 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 there's always going to be pushback. But if you're like, you know what, I'm really looking to save money this year so we can both rest a little, have more ease,
Yeah. So mentioning the travel, because even though you've chosen to land and settle in Belize, you have options because you go many places. So, what are your other favorite places outside of Central America? What are some of the other places that you really like and would live?
Ooh, would live,
Yeah.
like many, but would live, that would be difficult. And here's why. I have not found another country that I would 100% live in. I would say Panama.
Yeah, I love Panama.
The only thing that stops me is I have not learned Spanish. And I love being somewhere where I can just right off the bat speak the language.
I can assure you that if you ever went to Panama, it would almost be just like landing in Miami.
I just left there, sister.
You can speak. They first of all, they are dual language in Panama. They speak both English and Spanish. It's not like Costa Rica. When you go to Costa Rica, you got to know a little Spanish. But when you go to Panama, it is all that.
Yeah.
So I have my eye on Panama. I really
like
thought
Panama.
you were gonna say Mexico, and I know one time we were talking about Africa, so I thought you were gonna go.
No,
off
no.
the list, or
No. Honestly, I feel like for the work that I do, so much of my work, I feel like it's very centered with Black American women. And so going to Africa, I just feel like it's too far. And my mother's very close with my son. My son is extremely close with his father. And I
okay,
think it would just be too extreme. And also, I don't really have the relationships there. So I think a lot of us go places where we at least know some people. We
mm-hmm.
have the relationship. So that's a big deal as well. And I just spent a couple weeks in Panama, and I was able to make some connections. I was out there at Sunfire with Iris Latham.
Oh,
And
nice. Okay.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. And we were working on his cookbook. So making recipes,
Oh,
filming, everything.
yes, I know.
Finally, his recipe book.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so I love his property. I love, everything about that area of Cologne. And, it's like a lot of the Congo folks landed there, and that culture is still very much there. And
Yeah.
so I like that. I like that. But again, it reminds me of where I am in Belize. It's very much undeveloped. But what I've been telling Black folks, the same way we just pulled together for Kamala, we have got to get into that mentality as a unit everywhere we go, not to look at countries like, it's got no paved roads, it's undeveloped. No, you go and pave it. You go develop it. Come on, let's do this. This is what other people do. Let's get
Now,
into
this is
it.
exactly what they do, but we have such a citizenship mindset. A citizen, I'm a citizen, so I'm gonna go and give me a job, make me secure, and make me comfortable like I am in the U.S. And I guess this is a great segue because, and when we're talking about not like us, it does take a certain mindset to move abroad, to stay abroad, and then to thrive abroad. That's a different type of mindset. But
Yeah.
you're a vegan chef. So has your work shifted, or do you still see in the future perhaps being the first vegan chef to open a vegan spot in Belize?
That's a great question. Yeah, people have been asking me, have I opened anything here and would I? And my goal is two goals that I have here. The first is to create a sustainable, eco-friendly estate community. I want at least 100 acres of land where folks have beautiful homes developed where we can live in harmony together. That's always been, village mentality has always been my dream. I can live in a certain type of isolation, but having children, they don't care about that. They don't want isolation. They want community. So that is my highest vision. In fact, when I posted about the top 5 reasons that I love living in Belize, it was the most viral post of my entire career online, which blew my mind. Out of everything I've ever discussed on the internet, this was the most viral, millions of views. I couldn't believe it. And so it lets me know, like, people are really serious about expatriation. Now, my second vision is a wellness spa. I really want to have a place where not only people, and it would be more of like almost like a bed and breakfast. So very similar to Usha Village, Honduras.
Oh, very nice. I see.
That's the vision for me.
Yeah.
And it would be an extension of the community. So not so much a restaurant, although naturally there has to be living foods there so people can enjoy. That would just be, end up being a part of it. But I'm looking at things a lot bigger. I really want to create space for the whole person, not just for individual clients and or, patrons to come and eat, but really a full experience. Because what I feel like I'm finding the deeper I move into my work with people is that they know what to do. They've got the Google, they got the YouTube and all the information. Now they got all the books, they got all the tools, they got all the ingredients, but they don't have a lifestyle and an environment that really aids in their overall wellness. So that's where we're all seeming to get stuck. So even in the conversation, like you said, about food and the feminine, I've been talking about food and teaching food for so long, but if I can't assist in creating the systems, that will help us to have real food, to have the stress-free lifestyle that aids in balancing our hormones, then I can tell you what to do all day long, but you would have to kind of not just do what I say, but do what I'm doing and follow me, in that you got to go and create an environment for yourself to actually be well.
Well, I remember you being before I would say the vegan fad or the vegan trend.
Yeah.
So you never came off like the vegan mafia type of person, but it really does turn off some people the way it has become now. But I do remember living abroad and almost being able to eat almost anything that I wanted and it not affect my body the same way. So tell me what you think about this, because I really do think we've developed a poor relationship with food because it has been so stripped in the United States.
Ooh.
When people live abroad, I instantly I lost weight. I could eat bread and drink coffee and not be sick. My digestive system would not be, because the bread would be fresh at the bodega down the mountain, not down around the corner, down the mountain. And we could smell the bread baking. My husband would go get it. We'd have a cup of coffee and go on about our business. I did not have to worry about my womb health. I was walking. My vegetables didn't last long because I went every week to the farmer's market. So we got what we needed. We ate what we needed. And then I started introducing meat again. At that time, I was very much on Dr.Sebi's diet to save my feminine health. And I found myself being able to relax and develop a new relationship with food abroad. When I came back to the States, the paranoia came right back. So can you speak to that? Because maybe veganism is such a thing here because we've been so poisoned.
Ooh, sister, you ain't told no lies in that one. And it's something that I've been trying to find the right way and time to discuss, because some of my greatest teachers are now shifting the conversation out of the strict plant-based conversation. And it's one of those things that's difficult because we become so evangelical with the way that we teach about food and talk about food. And I've been the victim to thousands of YouTube videos and attacks when it comes to this. Oh, she ate broccoli. Sebi said don't eat broccoli. Oh, she ate almonds. Sebi said don't eat almonds. So it's really hard to be a person in this position as teacher, nutritional counselor, healer, as I am learning, experimenting, working with people, as information's coming to me, to make any shifts in some of that new information that I'm processing could put me on the chopping block, right? And so people have an expectation and they want you to stick to the thing that they have become dedicated to religiously.
Like a religion.
And it does not serve any of us, because the goal is to progress into the things that serve us best. So, quick story that points right to what you said was my son got really, really sick. It was like a cold that would never end. And one of my master teachers, Dr. Ali Muhammad, Chief Amaru, he been a plant-based advocate for 20 years. He said, listen, find some real wild Alaskan salmon and give it to him, in 24 hours, he'll be fine. The vitamin D is just going to kick it right out. And I said, my son's never had any meat. And he was like, I know, but just trust me on this. I gave it to him. My son immediately was like, ew, what is this? I don't like it. And I didn't know how to cook it really. So I was like, let me try this one more time. Gave it to him. 24 hours, just like he said, my son got better. Now, what am I to say about my philosophy when I'm doing the thing, right? I'm having this result. So now I moved to Belize, and the fish is coming right out of the ocean.
Yeah.
And they're pulling up in the boats with fresh fish, and they're offering, freshwater fish. And so my son's like, well, remember that time I ate the salmon? It helped me feel better. Can I try? Yeah. So, moving into that kind of reality, I have really been hesitant, sister, to share, but there is a massive difference when you travel to other countries, because as we know, 80% of the stuff that we're allowed to eat in America, they can't even eat in these other countries. They're illegal. So it's a huge, just the soil alone, because of the agricultural processing that we do, to the monocropping that we do in the States, it changes the soil and the fruit that comes from the soil. The soil is what's most important, is the minerals in the soil. So yes, you're going to get sick because you're mineral deficient and you're overly poisoned. So I have noticed a massive difference with not only the level of chemicals and minerals that people receive in another country, but the lifestyle, because they are biking, they are walking, they are in the sun, they're in the ocean. It's the air. It's everything, right? So it's not just diet alone.
Everything. Yes.
It's all the things.
I remember, it's so funny you mentioned both that story and Ali, because I come from the era of Dr. Ali Muhammad, the first one, who was the National Minister of Health for the Nation of Islam. And I'll never forget when they were like, because Dr. Alim, it's Alim Muhammad. He put out a YouTube video about drinking milk.
Wow.
Raw milk, though,
mm-hmm.
you get from the farm.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he had been an advocate at that time. People wasn't calling it vegan; they were vegetarian,
mm-hmm.
and there were different types of vegetarians during this time. And so he was one of those who did not believe in dairy. And I remember, and that YouTube video is still up. And he said, I know people are going to come for me. And he said he got so sick one time, and someone told him to start a diet of raw milk. He started drinking the raw milk. He said he instantly began to heal. He thought it was a fluke. He went into his doctor medical research mode and put himself on raw milk. And it literally, he said he had no digestive issues. It cleared up his digestive issues. He had no mucus in his body. Everything changed to the point where he was consuming raw milk more than he was food.
Wow. Wow. I got to see that.
It's still up there.
Incredible. Incredible. That's incredible.
So I want to close out this talk so far. I mean, I know there's more. I'm thinking maybe we could have you back for the perimenopause and women's hormones panel. I got something real special. We're not going to talk about it the same way because it's going to be an intergenerational conversation when we talk about this feminine. There's so much to go. I don't even want to go there because I know you could go there when it comes to fibroids and food and that type of thing. But I want you to finish this sentence. I'm going to give you a word and then you finish this sentence in light of not like us and everything that we've talked about. So here's the word. You know, I work with the power of the P's. So purpose.
Passion. Play. Pleasure.
What comes to you though when you think about purpose? Don't give me any other P's because then you're going to
don't give you P's. Okay. Oh, purpose.
Yeah.
Oh.
Purpose. Not like us. What is it?
So, when I think of purpose, I think of my divine destiny, my divine assignment.
And you started on a divine assignment early on in your life. We didn't even get a chance to talk about that, right? You heard a call in. We got to do part 2. Okay. All right. So the next P, pleasure. Finish the sentence. Pleasure is
knowing how much you deserve to enjoy yourself.
Nice.
Yeah.
Passion. Now, so see, this is why I didn't want you to go ahead. Passion is
a combination of your foremost desire and the internal yearning to play with the things that bring you the most bliss.
Okay, I love it. Profits.
Ooh, profit is. Profit is the ability to manifest your the ability to turn your passion and purpose into money.
Okay, and then add your own P and sum it up for us in terms of not like us based off of what we've talked about so far. In your own words, what would you want to leave us with a P? What P and why?
I would say, maybe potential.
Okay.
I think that there's nothing more important than finding out your greatest potential and tapping into your greatest potential. This is where you'll find, what separates you from everybody else. And you'll find out, once you tap into your potential, that they are not like you. There's no one like you. You are the only you. So it's impossible for them to be like you because you have your own divine purpose and potential.
Ashe. So your product, I want to close out with this P in terms of your. Did you bring anything to share with the guest here? Do you have a freebie or something that I'll be able to drop it in the description? Can you talk about it, whatever it is?
Oh, sure. I got so many good freebies I could certainly leave with you guys. But I want to also say that currently I really, really want to open up the floor, that I'm taking 5 guests this fall and winter. If you want to come to Belize and you want to explore and you really need some kind of one-on-one personal wellness assistance, I've opened my space for you to do so. So you can reach out to me directly.
That's free.
So that is not free. Sorry. This is just, look, a free promo here going on. Sorry. But
you got to be specific on the internet, because people will be like,
right.
Oh, Chef Ahki is offering free for 5.
Apologies. So you can come visit. It is not free, but and I do retreats and stuff all year round. We're headed to Panama. We're headed to Morocco, but as a freebie, I may just let y'all choose, because I have a list of things that can be freebies. So it could be ebooks, it could be meal plan programs, it could be juicing cookbooks. I have so many cute little morsels. I have a beautiful gift that I just remember called Meal Plan for the Working Man. I think I'm going to give that to you, because I know we got working women in this room and you need to know how and what to eat because you're a busy lady. I think that would be a good one.
Okay, so they'll find that in the bio, and of course you'll be able to link to all the other things that Chef Ahki does. And if you're curious about living abroad, or put your questions here, because she'll be able to see them on the YouTube channel once they're up. And we're going to meet up later on and talk about this show in our tribe talk. So we have a group of sisters who are shifters, and we get together on Wednesdays. We used to call it Womanhood Wisdom Wednesdays, but because we're building a tribe, we are opening it to the men who love us. And so that is at 7 p.m. on Wednesdays now. And I also have Rebirth Sunday. Chef Ahki, thank you for joining. I love my favorite frames of the show. One is that she's a Southern woman. I'm always going to be like, because she's been shining out there. And y'all don't know, but she's my cousin in many ways, because she's a Choctaw woman. She knows her indigenous truth. We didn't even talk about that in terms of that. She brings that into her work. And my other favorite frame is that you just decided to move and you landed, and the path unfolded as you walked it. So thank you for dropping those shift talk gems. And baby, you've heard it from a goddess that it is okay to be not like everybody else. And so I'll close out the show with my gratitude. And if there's any last thing that you want to say about being different.
Thank you so much, LaTanya. I've been different my whole life. And it's a gift. It really is. It's my superpower. Lean into it. I honestly, if you're trying to be like everybody else, what's going to make you stand out? So, leaning into those differences, that's where your superpower is. Honestly, lean into it and go into it without fear. Go into it with pure confidence. Honestly, it really is going to be the thing. The biggest chance, the bigger the chance that you take, the more the reward. So I'll leave you with that.
Thank you. All right, you all. We'll see you all on the other side. Join us for Tribe Talk, or join us once a month, the first Sundays, for our She Magic Sunday. See you later on the other side. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it, everyone.